do you have anything to say about Sister Agnes Sasagawa, who passed away this year? The lady of the apparition of Akita.
I met her twice, at least twice, if not 3 times in Japan, because when I came across the message, the third message that she received in 1973, it struck me very much as true. And when I was in the Far East, I made a point of going to visit her. And she received me at least twice. I say 2 or 3 times, I'm not sure, but at least twice. She received me very kindly, and we talked. And she didn't know too much about Archbishop Lefebvre to begin with, but then I had a lay friend in Japan who I think came to know her quite well, came to meet her quite often, came to know her quite well. And he presented to her the ideas of Archbishop Lefebvre, which he knew of. And I think she was impressed, and she reacted favorably, thanks to this lay friend, I do believe, Francis Fukushima. And through him, I think she came to appreciate the ideas of Archbishop Lefebvre, and I think she agreed with him to a great extent. It wasn't easy for her to accept that the Archbishop, so condemned by the official church, by the mainstream church, she still belonged to the normal church, and the official church, the conciliar church, as we call it, and she didn't find it too easy to accept that he was right. But I know that she was impressed, and that she came to know through Francis Fukushima, I think she came to know much better everything that he was saying. And then I remembered clearly that she was disappointed when I was thrown out by the Society of what seemed to be the Society of Archbishop Lefebvre. And I was thrown out because the society had departed from the line of Archbishop Lefebvre, and that was an extra thing for her to have to understand. But I know that she herself, of course, came into difficulties with the convent. I think she was thrown out of the convent and then kept in exile from her convent and from her sisters in the convent. And she died, of course, recently. But she had stayed faithful to the message. It was the sisters who were bullied by their bishop. And because the original bishop in Akita was Bishop John Shiro Ito, and he was good, but he was persecuted by his colleagues, and they wanted to shut down the convent or to shut down the message, because the message is the pure preconciliar religion. That's the third message of October 13th, 1973. And all of the Japanese fellow bishops of John Shiro Ito wanted to shut down that message because it was against the conciliar revolution. The Japanese bishops, the Japanese Conference of Bishops was in favor of the conciliar revolution and therefore persecuted John Shiro Ito. He turned to Rome he went to Rome. He flew to Rome to meet Cardinal Ratzinger, as he then was. Cardinal Ratzinger commented upon the message of October 1973 that it was the continuation of Fatima. It was a rerun of Fatima. Of course, there were three messages. The first was, I think, in June of 73. The second was in August of 73, and the third was in October of 73. And that third message of Akita was pure pre-conciliar Catholicism, the true Catholicism, not the false conciliar Catholicism, or the bogus Catholicism of the Council. So John Shiro Ito died in, I think it was 1984, but not before in 1982 he had been able to declare, as the local bishop who is competent in such things, that there was nothing that Catholics could take seriously and believe in. If they wanted to, Catholics could believe in the messages of Akita. So John Shiro Ito succeeded in giving official approval to Akita before he died. But once he died, the next bishop was not in line with the old Catholicism, the true Catholicism. He was in line with the new Catholicism, and therefore she came under difficulties because she remained faithful to the messages. She remained faithful, with the help of Francis Fukushima, to the content of those messages. I think she never betrayed them. But she was booted out of the convent and had difficulty finding refuge outside the convent with friends or with any sisters. I think there was one sister who also left at the same time, maybe to help look after her because she was already growing old. She was not old in 1973, but she was old in 2024. And so she died this year after a number of years not easy, but she died faithful. I remember her quite well. And I remember being favorably impressed. She was a very honest and simple soul, not stupid, but wishing to remain faithful to Mother Church, to the true Church, and who succeeded to a great extent in doing so. So I do have memories of Sister Sasagawa, and good memories. May she rest in peace.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I appreciate your talks on that, and it's very impressive that a laywoman that had no contact with the most of people studied about Archbishop Lefebvre and find out he was right on his undoings. That's good, a good sign.
Yes.